Now, everybody has a different story when it comes to building a business. To some, it's never an easy task to partake. And to some, they have very good stories of how they started from scratch and built their empires to profitability. And that's the reason why Bizna Kenya and MC Moments have partnered to bring you Biz Talks. Biz Talks. And here we shall be hosting mentors, people who have gone ahead of us, people who have created these empires, people who have also on the verge of creating these particular big businesses. And these lessons will be valuable for you, the business person, for you, the aspiring business person, the entrepreneur, so that at least you can make wise decisions when it comes to building that business. So every Friday at 8 a.m. on all business platforms, that's the Facebook and YouTube channel. All right, good morning and welcome to Biz Talks. Many thanks indeed for joining us and keeping us company. I hope from wherever you are, you're keeping yourself warm. We're still in the Nairobi winter in a way. This weather, by the way, is very unpredictable, just like the taxman. Sorry. I mean, it's just unpredictable. That was just a nice, we were just talking about what we're talking today. And guess what? Our guest is in the house today, and we have Job Wanjohi, the head of policy research and advocacy at the Kenya Association of Manufacturers. And he's here to really help us to understand what is all this happening. You know, in fact, the question that I wanted to ask today is the government taxing businesses out of business? You know, because we are hearing about these inflations. I mean, there's a time there was an introduction of a 1% minimum tax and everybody was making noise. What really is happening? And so we're going to have that conversation to know what is all these regulations that are coming on board and really affecting the bottom line and the cost of living in this country. So, but before then, Job did not wait. He jumped into what we normally call our introduction tea, and he's already serving himself because the cold could not wait. But please allow me to serve myself very quickly. Job, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
It's good to have you, and I know it's very cold. That's why I saw you already went ahead and served.
Yes.
I think this weather...
I took some hot water for myself.
Excellent.
And good good tea.
Good one. I love it.
Yes.
We want to appreciate Melvin's for really supporting us in this. I think this weather for me
quite commendable.
Needs a serious green tea with mint, because honestly, what we are seeing on this tax regime, my friend, it's not it's not something to joke with. By the way,
yes,
you know, before we even jump into the conversation, this Delta variant, man, is not joking with people.
No, it's not joking.
Yeah, it's not joking.
Yeah.
And I think it's good to encourage people, wherever you are, if you need to get vaccinated and if you can access it, go do that. Job, by the way, have you been vaccinated?
Yes, I'm waiting for the second jab, which is
the
coming in
second
September.
jab?
Yes.
Okay, can I tell you something? I just got my jab like a week on Monday.
Yeah.
Tuesday.
Are you feeling the effect? It has some effect on everybody.
Tuesday I could not perform normally.
Yes.
But at least I'm back now.
Yeah,
and I think I want to appreciate the fact that, you know, you feel a little bit encouraged that you're taking the measures that are there.
Yeah.
And I think we wanted to tell the people outside there, especially business
to
people who
them,
you cannot run away from people.
Exactly.
Just get safe, get vaccinated now that it's there. All right, Job. So many thanks for coming in. And before we also as well jump again into the conversation, let us help our viewers get to know who's Job. When people ask you who is Job, who do you say you are?
Thank you so much, Maida, for this opportunity to come and dissect a few topical issues. Yeah. As you mentioned, my name is Job Wanjohi. I'm the head of policy research and advocacy at Kenya Association of Manufacturers. That's why we have been trying to have a balanced discussion with everybody.
Absolutely.
As far as our economy, our environment, our social status, our political status is concerned. Yeah. So that's my daily job that I wake up to do, and that's what I'm even doing here. So I'm encouraged also by the topics that we are going to cover today, especially on taxation.
Absolutely.
It's something that is like what we have rightly mentioned. We are taxing businesses out of businesses. Yeah. And it is very important to look at how we can overcome this challenge. So that's me and my passion in life. Yeah. To help business community understand the challenge that we're facing today. Sure. And so that we can march forward better and rebound better.
Thank you so much. And we need such kind of you, as many of them, because honestly, I'll tell you, I have had conversations with very many SMEs, people who are here, who are doing business, and some of them have gone out of business because they feel they don't have the support. and the cost of doing business is quite high. And if you look at our neighboring countries, some of them have some of the best, most favorable environments, and you wonder why wouldn't we get there as well. But thanks a lot for the introduction.
Yes.
And you know, I want to sit down on the learning seat, of course with many other businesses who are there, and I want you to dissect to us what is happening on the ground. What has the government introduced? Why is the outcry there? Of course we know the outcry and the effects, but just help us understand the landscape on what is happening.
I'll try to use very simple terms so that all of us can really understand where we are.
Please.
About where we are. For instance, if you are running your own household and you have this much as revenue, but you have this much as the expenditure, we're talking probably of expenditure of 30,000, but your revenue is only 15,000. You'll have to, as the lead of that household, look at ways that you can bridge that gap of the expenditure and the revenues that are available for that household. If there is a deficit of 15,000, then the lead of that household has to work a little bit harder.
Absolutely.
And ensure that that deficit or that the difference between the revenues that are available and the expenditure for that house is concerned.
Absolutely.
But you can also look at the expenditure perspective. Do you have wasteful expenditure in that household? Is there a lot of boozing or a lot of wasteful expenditure that is happening in that house? So it's the same thing that is happening even in the government. There is what we call now the budget estimates that are released every year, whereby there is estimated revenues and there is estimated expenditure. For this year that we are running, the estimated expenditure stands at 3.6 trillion shillings. But the expected revenues is about 1.8 trillion shillings. That means the government wants to raise an extra 1.8 from Wananchi. Then, if you look at the number of our citizens, we are about 48 million or 50 million thereabout. The registered voters, those who are above the age of 18, we have about 19 million, 20 million registered voters. Those only who are paying taxes is about 5 million. This one talks of high underemployment in the country, lack of opportunities, talks of very, very serious fiscal deficit because of, as a result of, we have qualified labor, capital or human capital, but is underemployed or is unemployed, and subsequently they're not contributing to the coffers or to the resources of this country. And that's the reason why then the government has to try and concentrate on those who are paying directly the taxes, the 5 million, and then subsequently they have now to be taxed out of their businesses as a result of that.
Oh my goodness. That simply means, in simple terms, then we are talking about the government has not probably explored ways or different ways of, expanding the tax base as we're talking about it. And I like the fact that you have mentioned the effects that are there, because annually we have graduates popping in close to 1 million. And if you look at the last years, then we should be having, as you said, amazing resource on the ground. These are people now who, because of unemployment, are jumping to get into business and try to see whether they can have their daily bread. But now the government has gone to them and with some of these serious policies. Thanks for that. But before we proceed on with the conversation, I just want to give a shout out. I have Brenda Lona or Lupo watching from Kampala. Even Kampala. Okay, welcome on board. Of course, Wangari Kamanga looking awesome. Yes. Oh, by the way, someone is asking, who are you wearing? We shall discuss that later on, but at least it's a Kenyan. Is it?
Yeah, Kenyan. Exactly.
Great. So, Job, I mean, this is quite sad, and the reality of what you're painting for businesses. And so you've told us what the government is doing, the deficit they have. First of all, I would want you to also touch on it, because we're also paying serious debt back then, and the burden still keeps going up and up. So last I checked, it was even a push of an introduction of a minimum tax. So I'm just trying to still get on the status. Where are we on those things?
As far as the minimum tax is concerned, it was introduced at 1% on gross turnover. That means even if you're a loss-making company, but you have made sales, you have to pay 1%. Even if you're loss-making.
Even when you've made losses.
Even if you're a startup, you start a business today, in your budget estimates for that business, you have to factor in the 1% minimum tax as an expense, because you have to pay the government. And that's the reason why, as an association, we had to oppose the introduction of the 1% minimum tax.
Absolutely.
And it's a matter we cannot discuss that much, because we are waiting for the court ruling on 20th of September, when the courts resume, because at the moment they're on holidays. But you'll find such is it's a bad tax for every business, whereby you're looking at everybody else.
I mean,
you are paying PAYE, you are paying VAT, there's income tax, there's corporation tax. Then on top of that, probably then you're being told that you have to pay again minimum tax.
My goodness, everybody would agree that we are being overtaxed, Job.
We are getting overtaxed.
Because
what would be important is it's a good tax if at all how it has been framed is all right. If it's cautioning the startups. It's cautioning the loss-making companies. You see? It's looking at how you can have a balance between the corporation tax that is already paid by companies.
You're right.
And then the minimum tax should become closer. But now when you peg it on the gross turnovers, that becomes a problem.
You're right. Because as you said, there must be checks and balances, for example, because, for example, we're still in the pandemic. We're in COVID-19, and you've seen so many businesses now hit the wall, because some of them are making losses, some have closed up, some have had to cut down, and introducing another tax at that particular season, that's a death knell completely.
It's dangerous.
So I really shudder to think through how, because I'm also an SME, you know. That's why this is so passionate to me. But let's first of all get to what you are doing as KAM, you know, because as a sector, you have continued to advocate for more competitive business environment, as you said. Paint to us a picture. What, from where you see it, is competitiveness?
Thank you so much. Competitiveness means that you can sell better in the market.
Better in the market, yes.
And in a globalized system, whereby now the economy is liberalized, goods from Europe, from Asia, from Americas, they can come to Africa, they can come to Kenya and sell equally as goods that are locally manufactured. So competitiveness is a question of looking at how we can be price sensitive. Price sensitive can be looked from two angles. One is from government support through various policy frameworks that are developed, like now the fiscal policy when you talk about taxation, having fair expenditure so that we are not increasing taxes every day. But also looking from another angle of the farm level interventions. When we're talking of effective use of like water, of electricity, and we are supporting as an association companies to do what is called annual energy audits. So that subsequently they will become more competitive in the use of the inputs. But at the same time, you'll find that as they try to do this as much as possible, by ensuring that they have the best human capital, by ensuring that they are digitizing. On the other hand, you see the government comes and takes away what they have done. You see? So you find you're making 2 steps ahead at the farm level, but you're making another 3 steps behind at the policy framework level. And that's why we are encouraging the government to ensure that every intervention is being done looking from competitive perspective. When you're talking about exportation of the goods that are locally manufactured, we must do our own analysis in those markets and understand what's the pricing, what's the retail price in those international markets. If we cannot sell at those prices, then it becomes very hard to penetrate some of those markets, because people have become price sensitive. Because of especially liquidity issues. So one would rather say, let me just buy this product that is going for 10 bob, that is going to serve me for the next 15 days. As I get another 10 bob to buy another one.
To replenish.
Rather than I buy the same thing at 30 bob, which can last me for 2 or 3 months. So the government has to look at taxation issues, has to look at regulations that are really coming up now and then. You'll find they are overlapping, they're duplicated. We have one agency here or one authority here that is doing the same mandate that another one that is doing, and they are subsequently charging fee for the service that they are offering through those regulations.
You're right. I mean, that's actually the baseline, because we don't want to feel as a manufacturer locally or someone who is trying to do business that the importation coming in are coming here at a price I can't even get.
Yeah.
And the reason why my price cannot compete with them, as you've said, is because these guys are bringing in things and they're not being hit hard like we are here right now, because I feel like we're already suffering as we're speaking.
Yes.
Let me appreciate Alonso as well is watching. Thanks a lot for watching it. And wherever you are, let us know where you're watching us from. We want to really as well engage. And you know, the quick question is this: what do you feel? Is the government really supporting SMEs and MSMEs and even just businesses here in this country, even in the manufacturing sector? We have Job Wanjohi here, who is really as well feeling us and trying to help us understand in this. By the way, Job, let me ask you, what value would it have for consumers if we had a level playing ground when it comes to competitiveness?
It has multiple benefits.
Yes.
For instance, if the trade is not leveled between locally manufactured and what is imported, and we're talking about level playing field from having substandard goods coming to the country, having contraband goods coming to the country, counterfeited goods coming to the country, undervalued, undercustomed. All that looks at the level playing field. It has benefits. For instance, when you talk of substandard goods, in the country we are following the Kenyan or EAC standards for making goods locally.
Absolutely.
But what is being imported is substandard. It has some health concerns for consumers.
Absolutely.
It has some quality and durability concerns for consumers.
You're right.
That's the reason why they have to frequent the shops now and then to replenish, because either it has broken down. You see, either it's not functioning as they wanted it to.
And some of them can be hazardous at home.
Yes, it can be hazardous at home. So it's good we look at that level playing field. Even from the angle of industrialization perspective. You find that there are people who are shying away from joining manufacturing because they're feeling that they are likely to struggle for very many years before they either break even or even they're able to make the profits.
You're right.
For instance, if you're making a product and there is over-regulation in the country, there's over-taxation in the country, and probably the same product is coming, you only pay import duty and probably VAT at the port, nothing else that you're likely to pay. You find then taxation also affects now the manufacturer themselves, as also consumers of the raw materials that are getting imported. So if you look from those angles, you find that it's not only consumers that are affected by the lack of level playing field, but also even manufacturers and so, or even the private sector.
They're affected. Absolutely. Thanks so much for putting it that way. Let me jump into the perspective of where we are, you know, as a nation. I know I tried to juggle up because of some of the researches that I've done, because I feel like we are not at par with other nations in terms of support. And I just wanted to get your opinion. What's your perspective about the taxation regime in this country? What's your perspective?
The taxation regime in this country is unpredictable. And it is not fair.
That's a very bad place to be.
Yes, a very bad place to be. And the reason I've used those two words, that is not predictable, is not fair. Initially, I had some statistics I gave, whereby I said, we have only 5 million Kenyans paying taxes.
Absolutely.
In a population of 48 million people.
That's sad.
And the registered voters are about 19 million or 20 million. That means they should be working.
I know.
But they are unable to work, and we can excuse them.
Because
they don't have any placement at the moment.
Absolutely.
But it's not fair, because it is 5 million people who are shouldering the burden of 50 million. They are shouldering even the burden of corruption.
Absolutely.
They are shouldering the burden of even sometimes of poor governance.
Absolutely.
So it's a bit unfair as a taxation system.
Absolutely.
Predictability is a question of when we are passing acts of parliament from bills, you find that the public participation is wanting. For instance, now we have excess duties that have been introduced on resin. Resin is used in making paints.
It's very nice,
making paints. And you'll find that the 10% excise duty was not discussed anywhere with manufacturers, with the consumers, but it has been introduced.
They just brought it in.
On the imported, on imported resin. Subsequently, what now is going to happen, the paint manufacturers, the users, that means you're now talking from the manufacturers up to the users. Absolutely. If manufacturers are unable to shoulder the 10%, it's going to be passed down to the users. And now unpredictability is out of, this never went through the public participation. So,
you're right.
It's an unfair system.
Big question.
And we are looking at how each and everybody is going to be involved in policy-making processes in this country so that they contribute to fairness and to equality and to predictability.
I love it. And I like the way you've put it. I can't even put it better, because the unpredictability part of it is actually what is most shocking, because, you know, you never know. Tomorrow, some other regulation might just be passed there and it's passing out there. And especially for the SMEs as well, because, you know, you get hit left, right, and center with something that just popped up, and then you suddenly have to raise the cost of your goods. And then your consumers, they think maybe you're eating up from them. Somebody else with maybe who had piled more stock will still owe your customers first. And so it's a bit wavering in a way.
It is.
So let me ask you with this. From where you sit, which tax, from where you sit, do you consider most prohibitive, and why?
One is the excess tax. Initially, excess tax was a sin tax, or only imposed on specific goods that we well know. But now you find it has been extended to other sectors. Automotive sector is paying excess tax.
Okay.
It's a sin tax. How?
How then? It's
food and beverage sector is paying excess tax. How? Is it a sin tax? Why should you treat eating food as a sin? So it is prohibitive. That's one of them.
That's actually very big.
Yes.
Because why is it being introduced to such commodities?
Then the second one is pay as you earn. You find 30% imposition on any coin that you earn over, I think, 57,000. 30% goes to the government. And what you're left with at 70%, then VAT comes at 16%. And many other, road levy, I don't know what. So at the end of the day, you realize that the effective tax rate on an employed person is likely to rise to probably 45 or 50%. That means you're sharing half by the government. Government is a very serious shareholder in your salary.
They're taking all the money. And you know, by the way, especially the pay part as well. I mean, it's another one that people have really complained, because, you know, there were these remedies they had put, especially during the COVID-19, and then they were just brought back as if, you know, as if the pandemic vanished, you know, without even people say there was no public participation.
They survived only for 8 months.
I know, 8 months only. I mean, that's not fair. That's not fair. Let me just give a shout out to a few other people who are watching. Let us know where you're watching us from, so that at least we can as well engage with you. How has this impacted you? My goodness, Lord. Quick questions as well coming in here. People talking about cooking oil and all that. I think you'll mention that later on. Let's first of all just continue on with this conversation. So based on your experience, what taxation regime should Kenya have that would allow SMEs especially to flourish? You know, we've talked about some of these prohibitive ones, but what in your perspective should we have to allow us, you know, flourish as SMEs?
What would really work for SME? Sometimes I feel like the government should give even a moratorium on taxation. And,
Lovely.
And that's the reason why you find that we have non-formalized businesses because of the fear of the taxation regime. If we can have the government encouraging SMEs, first of all, to operate with probably 1% tax on probably not on gross turnover. Pegged on income. To start with initially, pegged on the little profits that they are making. It's something that would help, and then they're exempted from these other taxation that come along the way. Because the same SMEs, the workers in them are paying payee. You see? So the SMEs, they are, if you look at their effective tax contribution, it's still there. But when you come and now look at their profit, it's not there because salaries have to be paid.
They have to be paid, definitely.
They have to pay for their inputs. And when the inputs are being brought for them, they're paying the VAT. So they are actually contributing towards the taxation or revenues in the country. Okay. So it's a question of now cushioning them at the bottom line.
Okay.
If they're making those profits, let's not touch them. For a period of probably 5 years or 7 years, we give them that moratorium or that grace period. So that once they are able to develop strong winds, we tell them that, okay, you guys, now you can fly it to contribute to the growth of the nation.
Which speaks a lot about startups as well, because honestly speaking, if you are imposed to start paying tax when you're just, it's more like a baby.
Yes.
You start telling the baby you must start running a marathon, and they're just barely a month old. Hello. You know, we need to actually really rethink this completely.
Yes.
Geoffrey Lemba watching, thanks a lot. Brian Morris Kiome. What is he saying? My friend just opened a small motor vehicle spare parts shop. He's not sure if he needs to install ETR or not. ETR or not, let me read more or not. What is the criteria used for one to be required to install it? I can see where the question, you can see the question within the question. It's because of tax. Yes. Because this is going to be another thing. I think you will comment on that later on. Let me just appreciate the people. Mukiri as well, watching as well. Chekumbe Emmanuel in Athi River, watching as well. Clement from Mombasa as well is watching. Thanks a lot, guys. And, you know, tell us what your view is about this whole issue that the government is introducing. Honestly, are these taxes really fair, especially for the business environment? And we are here with Job Wanjohi, who is really helping us, you know, get to understand this. I'll call it a jargon because it's just hitting us back, and then the cost of living is just going up. So my question as well is this: how can we expand then our tax base? Because maybe there's some government officials watching and saying, you know we need to have this money. Definitely, we agree. We are loyal. We need to pay to Caesar what belongs to Caesar. Yes. But Caesar as well needs to be fair on our end so that we're not dying in the process. So what should the government do, honestly, you know, so that at least they can have this deficit? They call it deficit every time. As you put it across, the budget is in the 3-point-something trillion. Yes. We are just managing to get 1.8 trillion. We have debts. What should the government do from where you sit?
Let me ask you, Minor.
Yes.
You're in business.
Yes.
You're in business.
I'm in business, and I'm telling you.
If today you are in an informal business and you want to formalize it, the moment you think of the taxation regime, you shy away from registering. Because the government becomes a shareholder at about probably 35% or 40%. Instantly. The moment that you register your business with the registrar of companies.
Yeah, absolutely.
The government becomes an instant shareholder at a rate of that 40%. So, one way of incentivizing formalization of business in this country is, first of all, to analyze our taxation regime.
You're right.
And ensure that it is lower than it is today.
Very true.
Such that now the tax rate, which is high, will now be spread across many taxpayers. Once we have guaranteed them that this is not what we'll be paying. And that will bring now equality. It's going to bring fairness in the taxation regime. And that this can be achieved through this. We don't have in place what is called national taxation policy, which we have been discussing for the last 3 years with the government. And we would like to have this policy that is now looking, an overarching policy that is now looking at how we can restructure our taxation regime as it stands today. Absolutely. Because it is oppressive. And that's the reason why you find many SMEs are not willing to register. One is saying, okay, when I make a profit, it's mine and my family. I don't want anything to do with that government.
Those things,
See, that's one. The second one is on underemployment and unemployment. Underemployment is where you have done a bachelor degree in medicine, but you are working somewhere else, you're not in that field. That's underemployment. Absolutely. Unemployment is where you have that degree or have that diploma, but you don't have a job.
No job at all.
You don't have a job at all. Okay. So how can we address the question of underemployment and unemployment in this country? We are not integrating backward and forward our processes. You find like now, because of the competitiveness issue that we're talking about, 80% of inputs and raw materials that comes to manufacturing are imported. 20% is only what comes locally. But if we are able to integrate the value chain,
that's a big disparity.
Yes, big disparity. From farming to manufacturing.
Yeah.
From mining to manufacturing. Local mining, I'm not talking about imported oil or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm talking about what can be locally obtained.
Yes.
It is in these that in our counties that will have jobs being created.
That's true.
Manual jobs, formal jobs, and informal jobs are going to be created.
A lot of them.
Subsequently, when we have those guys now working, they will pay to the government.
Very true.
But now we are in a situation, we are in a catch-22. It's a very bad situation.
Absolutely.
Whereby you look at the number of the population,
you
look at those who are supporting this population, you look at those who are registered voters, I don't look at what you find, the mathematics are not adding up.
They're not adding up. I love that. And you know that issue especially of underemployment, because we have had so many, I've had people here who, when you hear the qualifications of what they have studied, the amount of years they spent, and now they opted to just go for business because getting a job was another story. And then now you're talking about unemployment again. If those two things were addressed, let me just give a case in example. There's a doctor who was right here. It's not even practicing because there were no, opportunities. And you wonder what is happening. A doctor takes about 6 years to train. You wonder, we would be grabbing them because we have shortages of them in the country, but they got no opportunity. And so a lot of them as well looking for opportunities abroad. Honestly, the government needs to do something.
And those were
we must also address it. Let's just point it out because, the head of state one day said that we lose 2 billion shillings.
Every day. The corruption.
Okay, that's laughable because...
It is.
Because that's what, 2 billion is a full Kenyatta hospital.
Yes.
A day.
Yes.
Goodness Lord, what's your comments on this? My goodness, this is really hitting me here. Let me ask you one more question, then we can jump into the questions that we are receiving from the people. Let's talk about public participation. Where we have taxes introduced, as you said, you give an example, without public participation. And I want to ask you the question, very layman, is it law that the government should do such a thing, first of all? Is it legal that they should do such a thing? What does this say about our public financial management then? What's your sentiments?
We have an act in place that anchors public participation.
Okay.
That means each and every Kenyan, either by themselves or through representation, should have a voice. On every law, any regulation that is coming in this country. So it's unlawful to pass something that has not gone through the public participation.
Absolutely.
And you'll find that some of these are introduced through panya routes because probably the public is likely to be opposed to it. You see? So subsequently, they end up getting hurt by what has been introduced. Like now I've talked of 10% excess duty on resin. You just wait. The paint users, those who are painting homes, those who are painting cars, they're doing what? All of those are going to be affected.
It's coming.
But now, you find because they're not given a chance to contribute to the debate, they are the end losers. And they're the one who are paying.
Absolutely. Absolutely. My goodness, Lord. What's your comments on this? My goodness, this is a very dear subject. Let me first of all appreciate George Matimu saying, first of all, that we're looking good. Where are you trying?
Thank you so much.
Listen to his comment. He says, KRA eats the eggs laying chicken. KRA eats the eggs laying chicken. Wow, that's a deep one. Because I think it means, let the chicken first of all survive so that, the more the eggs. Thanks a lot for that. I mean, that's a deep statement. Let me now get into some of the questions that have been sent to us. First of all, could you please comment on this? Because I understand we're having taxes on packaging, using plastics. There are taxes now there. Is this practical and is it safe?
Yes, 10% excess duty has been introduced on some form of plastic.
Wow.
And even through this introduction, payment ought to start being done. but even the system in the iTax for payment of these has not been established. That means you're likely to be penalized for not paying, yet the system has not been put in place. The system is not in place, but it's supposed to be.
There's no system and you'll be penalized.
You'll be penalized if you don't pay.
That's
those are some of the excise duties or the sin tax that I was talking about.
Yeah.
And when you look at the plastic, there is a call by manufacturers, what is called the extended producer responsibility, whereby we are looking at how what has been used in plastic can be recycled.
Okay.
And when this was being introduced, targeting the PET bottles.
Yeah.
The one that you normally use to drink water.
Or water, yes.
But you'll find it now extends even to the buckets that we use at home.
Home buckets.
Yeah, home buckets. Why? Why have a sin tax on a home bucket? Yeah?
You know, let me just use a politician's comment. I had Musalia Mudavadi saying that they have the taxman has now gone to the kitchen. Now, I think now with a bucket, they even go to the bathroom now. But go ahead. Yeah. This is so sad.
It's so sad. It's very sad. And you find even, not only even on like plastic, and we move like now to chocolate, you know, the candies for our babies.
I know.
That means even they are not now introducing sin tax on our babies. Chocolate that is locally manufactured now to attract 200 shillings.
Oh my.
Per kg.
Yeah.
When you move to something else like what? Even in metal sector, there's some taxes that are being introduced that are a bit ridiculous.
You're right. I mean,
on top of the international pricing of the inputs and the raw materials, which is hurting that sector big time. You find on top of it,
absolutely,
new taxes that are coming up.
And you know, it's not even just that, because they're also I don't want to use the word soft, but they're enablers of us doing business. For example, a simple thing as airtime. Now there's tax on it.
Yeah.
A simple thing as internet as well, because I just got extra bills coming in. And we know we can't even exhaust the levels that we have to pay from the cost of power that we've been complaining about and the likes and all those kind of things. So certainly this conversation, honestly, which I'll ask you to give us a partition or the way forward on this, we really need to get into that. Let me first of all get into some of the comments, and thanks a lot for the people who are watching. Suzanne Kamau as well in Mombasa watching, thanks a lot for that. So can we comment on this guy who's debating about introducing ETR into his spare part business because he's wondering what to do? And of course, Baron, he's watching from Seattle, Washington. Thanks a lot. So what would you have to say to him? I mean, of course, we are not saying we should not pay taxes, but I can see the debate, but I know I've put you on the spot. Please advise him.
I think he falls in that category of the way you're saying that guys are shying away.
You're right.
To walk into to National Treasury or to walk to the doors of Kenya Revenue Authority. Yeah. Because they know the moment they walk in there, and they get into the bedroom. They get into the kitchen. They get, I don't know into where.
Goodness, yes.
So, one is if the business is registered.
Yes.
And it's transactional.
Yes.
In one way or the other, the government will find a way of tracing back and get back their money.
Very true.
If not that, we have surveillance team that is on the ground that is looking whether you're issuing the ETRs or not.
And they are
so what I would encourage is a dual strategy.
Yes.
Whereby such a person who is doing the spare part business, and that's where we started with, is can they get a moratorium so that they register? They don't fear the ETR.
Yes.
But again, if they don't have that ETR, because it's lawful to have ETR, it's unlawful not to have it. It's good for them, if at all we don't achieve that compromise, whereby we are talking about we have a moratorium on payment of this, but let's register. Yeah. Let's have a 3 years moratorium. But let's register our businesses.
Let's register.
And let's walk to KRA and say that we exist.
We exist. We are here.
We are here.
Give us this time.
Yeah. But this is a struggle that we're having on the ground.
You're right.
Give us this time, and then we'll become compliant and be able to do it together with you.
And you're right, because even early on you said, of course, there could be businesses that have existed, maybe let's say 7-10 years plus, but because of COVID, for example, they are on a serious loss-making mission.
Yes.
And that's a conversation a regulatory body like even KRA should come on board and say, we can see your books, we can see what you're doing, we're giving you also this time because of the season that you're in. It's not, we don't care. Yeah. Because I feel like that's the attitude that is being felt,
It is.
We really don't care.
It is.
You've got to pay.
It is.
I mean, honestly, this is not okay. Let me get to more comments here. Cooking oil. Is there some regulation causing the increase of this price?
We have the international pricing of the intermediate product that makes now the cooking oil.
Yes.
You find that there's one thing, unavailability. And unavailability, when we have now the demand and supply forces playing,
yes,
where it is unavailable, it becomes expensive.
Yes.
So from the international perspective, or from international trade, the raw material is expensive by itself. Let me just use a simple one.
Absolutely.
That's one.
Absolutely.
Secondary is our exchange rate. Our exchange rate is worsening every day.
Oh my.
You see?
Yeah, absolutely. The
and it's fluctuating.
Right now,
the shilling now is at 109.
Yes.
Why can't the government drop that? So that we can see a reduction on the cooking oil pricing.
Absolutely.
And that is likely now to caution our kitchens. It's likely to ensure that we have good nutrition happening in our households.
Absolutely.
And subsequently, you'll find that these complaints that are coming up will not happen. I think that's the reason why the cooking oil pricing is currently affected.
Okay.
And we have carried out a study of 3 sectors, and this report we're releasing it in the next 1 week.
Go ahead.
That is the metal sector, edible oil sector, and also packaging sector.
Yes.
Because these are the sectors that are highly affected as far as the pricing at the moment is concerned.
Okay.
And we should be releasing that report in the next 1 week.
Wow, lovely. We can't wait to hear from that as well. We're coming to the end of this conversation, but I can tell you we really need to have more of this, and really, I mean, government, and if you're watching, and we hope to actually even host some of them right here, because we need to answer these questions. But I want to throw in a little bit, I know I didn't prepare you for this, because, politics cannot be separated. And I know from where you sit, even as an individual, there is what you see. I've been seeing conversations happening from some of our senior political figures talking about how now we're going to talk about, buy Kenya, build Kenya. I've seen even the models that we're hearing about, bottom up, that touches on the SMEs and all those kind of things. And we appreciate such conversations. It's their way of, as well, winning us, I don't know, have you seen from where you sit, policies that have been put in place from their end? Have you seen models that are really looking amazing? Of course, not mentioning the names, because we may not want to feel like we're endorsing anyone. But what's your comment on the conversations we are seeing? Is it a good direction to go? But is it just rhetoric?
No, a very good question there that you have thrown.
Yes.
We have had blueprints towards the general elections for very many years.
Absolutely.
To start off,
amazing blueprints.
Yes. To start off is, first of all, to do a monitoring and evaluation of those blueprints.
Yes.
And understand, have we lived according to them?
Yeah.
If we have not lived, and I'm sure that we have not lived according to the very good blueprints that we come up with,
yes,
then we need to ask ourselves questions as Kenyans.
Yes.
From one angle, where do we allow to be cheated?
Yeah. Why?
And those who have cheated to us are the ones that we put into government. Why can't we put people on seats of accountability? You understand?
Yes.
And even in this process, the next 360 days, we need to put people on the seats of accountability.
Absolutely.
Okay?
Absolutely.
We know that you have been in government.
Yeah.
We know you're in government. You know you have been in government.
Yeah.
What did you do based on what you had told us in 2002, in 1997?
Yeah.
You understand what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
We put them to be accountable for the promises that they make to the country.
Yeah.
And I think that's what is likely now to bridge the disconnect between what we are told and what it's actually done.
Absolutely.
Because it becomes very frustrating.
Yeah.
You wake up very early in the morning, go vote, thinking that that blueprint that you have read is what is going to be implemented. After that, oops.
And we have a lot of evidence on that. We cannot even table it here. Yeah. There is something here. What is the impact of this regulatory environment to our participation in one of the biggest markets? That's the Africa Continental Free Trade Area. So what's the impact of this regulatory environment to our participation, for example, in this AFCTA?
Africa Continental Free Trade Area is a big market and a big opportunity for us.
Sounds very promising.
But we can only take advantage of it if we address the competitiveness perspective, even from the regulation.
Yeah.
Why do we have duplication of fees and charges? Why do we have county fees and charges that when you're moving from one county to the other, you're transporting your good, you have to pay in this toll, pay another toll in Kiabu, pay another toll in Muranga, pay another one in Nyandarua as you move along. So that regulatory environment hurts us from that perspective. Also, there is costs in time. If the regulatory framework is lengthy, because of various red tapes and also governance issues and probably corruption, all these has to hurt our competitiveness and will not be able to penetrate effectively in some of these markets that we are coming up with, like now the African continental free trade area. You understand? I think we say in Kiswahili, kizuri shajiuza. Something like that. Something like that. So, if you don't ensure that we have competitiveness on the goods that we are making as a country, it's going to be a mirage for us, thinking that we can penetrate Africa because we are competing with other players from America, from Europe, from Asia, and whatnot.
So that means from where you sit, the potential is very big if we just have an enabler, an enabling environment. You know, I honestly feel, and in fact, if you're a business person and you're not registered in, you know, such a forum like KM, then it's actually unfair because you're fighting alone, and you better join where the masses are so that at least we can have one big voice completely to ensure that we are heard. And we want to appreciate what KM is really doing and, you know, the leadership there. And of course, Job championing these things that we're talking about because honestly speaking, who's going to talk about this? And we are the movers because honestly, if 80% of the economy movers are in the SME sector, then certainly they need to be enabled in this country. I want you to give a parting shot, especially for the people who could be watching and the people responsible in making these decisions. But generally, even speak to the SMEs where they are. Some of them who are hurting, some of them on their deathbed, you know. We hear most SMEs don't even celebrate their 4th birthday. You know, they die in the process. Please.
One thing I have to say is that we're in a painful process, just like a mother who is almost delivering a baby. But you have to go through this pain without giving up because you want life to be birthed out of it. So one thing that I will tell them is there's no chance of giving up. You have to move on and on and on.
You have to keep on.
The second is don't fight alone.
Don't fight alone.
Have collective bargaining on your processes. So that the government can understand the magnitude and the depth of the issue. How close-cutting into different sectors. So that's one advice that I would give, that no chance for giving up. The second one is we have to ensure that we are having one voice. Like now, the way we have tried to bring all the manufacturers from the country under the umbrella of Kenya Association of Manufacturers, whereby we are able to articulate the issues better. Second is we have to ensure that we are challenging the policies that government is coming up with all times. For instance, we took a bold step to protect each and every player in the country against a prohibitive 1% minimum tax. But it's out of collective voice coming from different players, and we heard them. We looked at the impact on their books, and we could tell this is going to go with many jobs. This is going to go with very many investments. This is going to discourage investment, foreign and local investment in the country. So we have to ensure that also that's happening, challenging the policies that the government is coming up with. We have even a very good opportunity at the moment. I've said that we have only 360 days to move into another regime. If we have to put a regime that cares for us, it is us to first of all ask ourselves, are we getting duped? Who is duping us? Who is sincere? Probably the most sincere is the most unpopular. You never know.
You're right.
So we have to ensure that we bring in place the right people into the next regime so that we can continue bettering or making improvements into our country.
You're right. My goodness, thank you so much.
Let's challenge the minds that want to be elected.
Absolutely. My goodness, this is actually a very amazing subject of talking, and I want to appreciate everybody else who has been conversing on this subject. Thank you so much for all the comments. Unfortunately, we couldn't read them all and, you know, have the chance to share them all. Someone is asking what? Let me see. That, you know, you've brought out the issue of taxes in a very amazing way. What is your comment on taxes in the counties? Is that limiting expansion of business locally? I think that's a comment we better give before we close.
Yes.
I think, could you comment on that? Yeah.
Yes. If you look at the various county fees and charges that are imposed arbitrarily without consultation by one county to the other, and again, it's the Constitution Article 109 that looks at counties should not become an impediment to inter-county trade by putting levies and charges. Even if you look at the guidelines that have been provided when we are trying to set up the counties, you know, to ensure that the counties are effective. All these you find was not followed up. So, for instance, when you're moving your goods, and I had mentioned about this, you're moving your goods from one county to the other. You go paying very hefty fees and charges. If you imagine that you're moving your goods by road from Nairobi to Kisumu, or from Nairobi to Mandera, how many toll stations are you going to find for paying the county fees and charges? There are very many of them. Subsequently, that hurt business. What we have been calling, for instance, like now, on movement of goods, is to ensure that the tax that you pay, because you are paying to Kenya, if you pay it in Nairobi, you're issued with a certificate that will be recognized along the way up to Mandela.
Just like a COVID certificate.
Just like a COVID certificate.
Yes.
You see? So they are prohibitive, and we are calling for the Council of Governors to look into this matter seriously. If we love our country and we love our businesses that are being conducted, that are contributing to the growth of this nation.
Very true. Because it doesn't make sense at all. You're within the country but paying tolls. Can I ask you a question? This is, I know you've already done, but are they listening? Are the Council of County Government, these policymakers, I know you've had sessions with the National Treasury, are they listening?
I would say yes, they listen. It's a question, are they acting?
Are they acting? That was my follow-up question. Are they acting on the things that you're saying?
Are they acting?
Oh my goodness.
I would say they are partly acting. And that's what is bringing the frustration, because you're telling the government, we are giving you an undertaking. If you do these, you implement these are the investments and the jobs that are likely to come. But I feel like you're duping them.
Someone is asking a follow-up question. So is it easier to ship to ship outside the country, and does this interfere with the consumer power and buy Kenya, build Kenya? So I hope you can get the question within the question. Is it easier to ship? I think it's like importing.
Yes. If I understand the question.
We can address all sides. You know, is it easier to ship, whatever goods that you have to other countries outside this country, then, you know, this inter-county thing, maybe because of those things, I think maybe it was a follow-up out of that.
Yes.
What do you get out of that?
I normally say it's good to take advantage of both markets, local and international. If you look at the manufactured goods, 82% of what is locally manufactured is offloaded into the country. It's only 18% that is exported outside the country. So I wouldn't discourage someone from concentrating on the local market, because it has its own advantages. You find that also in the international market is what called the non-tariff barriers. If you think of shipping your goods outside to Tanzania, you're going to get those red tapes. So it's a question of having a good balance between the local and the international market. But now that is as far as exportation is concerned. As far as importation is concerned, I normally say let's import knowledge, let's import machineries, and out of these, let's make our goods. And then we bridge the trade deficit or the trade balance that we have if you look at what is imported and what is exported. Instructively, if you look at our statistics, our import starts at about 1.8 trillion worth of Kenyan shillings. But if you look at our exports, about 670 billion Kenyan shillings. That means there's a whole deficit of 1.2 trillion Kenyan shillings. There's what we call the import substitution strategy. That will only achieve it when we only import knowledge. That's what we call the knowledge transfer. Import machineries. so that we can make our goods locally, and through this you'll spur growth, job creation. I don't know you do what.
All these unemployment
Yes.
we're talking about. Yes.
You see the bridging of the trade deficit between the imports and the exports.
Yeah.
Huge, huge opportunity for us.
Yeah.
We have like now done a study on textile and apparel that shows that we can create about 250,000 extra jobs if never of policy measures are undertaken by the government.
Yeah.
But you present that paper for 3 years, no one is listening. That's what I'm saying. No one is acting.
No one is acting. They're listening, but they're not acting. That's what we agreed. So, you know, I certainly want to make a call straight to the camera that if you know that you want to lead this nation, because business people contribute big time to the entire, I mean, not big time, I mean, they are the contributors of the economy in this country. You want to have a session, go visit KM, have a session with them. I think you might end up even winning. That's just a tip of how to win. Because honestly speaking, you've done all the homework. We just need somebody who can come and act, as we are saying. Yes. Somebody here was talking about, okay, public participation. Yeah, I think we have addressed that in the decision-making process, and I think you've addressed that very well. Yes. Someone is asking, tell us about these inflation adjustments and rates. I don't know. I know you had yesterday. I noticed you also had some comments on that in a Twitch chat.
Yes.
Do you want to just make a final comment on that? The
inflation adjustment rate on accessible goods is coming up at 4.97%.
What does that
from
mean?
1st of October.
From 1st October.
In accessible goods, including chocolates.
Yes.
Including petroleum products.
Oh my. including
cigarettes, alcohol, okay, and many other. Wow. You'll see an increment by 4.97 on the excise rate that is currently charged. Oh. I'm wondering, why do we have to keep... I know this one is pegged on what is called the Excise Tax Act of 2015, and it empowers the Commissioner General from KRA to impose annual inflation adjustment rate. But why can't they look at the situation we are in? The situation on the ground. Yeah. That's it. Things are thick. Things are thick. Wow. So what we are calling them to do is to reconsider in the next 60 days. Yeah. In fact, it's the next 45 days. Yeah. They need to reconsider that position. Oh my goodness. Out of the circular that was issued, they should suspend that circular so that at least we can have some breathing space. Not today we are thinking about minimum tax. Tomorrow we are thinking about inflation adjustment rate. Another day we are thinking about I don't know what. Very many taxation that are coming along, excise duty. Very many taxation that are coming along the way. So let's have a breather. By not introducing the inflation adjustment rate at the moment, so that we can have the sustainability of the players in the market. Absolutely, absolutely. You can't put it better now. My goodness, sorry, I may not be able to read all the other comments. Thanks a lot, Gashi. Wow, this one I can't let it pass. I know we got a few seconds. Yes. It's a very straight one. How is KAM empowering SMEs? Maybe he's asking so he can join in. Yes. Yes. We have a fully fledged SME sector. Yeah. Whereby we have brought all the SME in manufacturing. Yes. And we advocate on their behalf. Yeah. For instance, like this morning, I was looking at an issue that has been raised at the Buy Kenya, Build Kenya by an SME. Yes. They're saying we are the only producers of this product, but we are unable to get it procured by the government. So after this, I'm only going to pick those papers, go to the Ministry of Transport, discuss it with the CS or the PS, or even the directors, and ensure that we are within the Buy Kenya, Build Kenya, as far as such a product is concerned. Absolutely. The other thing is on the policy making. At the moment, we are looking at the MSC policy 2020. And it is out of these that we will have a good policy framework that is best for manufacturing SME in the country,
Yeah.
even if it's looking even at non-manufacturing SMEs.
Very true.
So I would encourage those who are not within KEM and in manufacturing
Yeah.
To join, or even to make an inquiry.
Yeah.
Come, visit us.
Yes.
And we can, have a critique on our processes, on what you're thinking about us.
Yes.
How can we help you?
Yeah.
And many guys who have come asking how we can help them end up joining and sustaining their membership with us.
Thank you. There you have it. My goodness, comments still coming in. You know, whenever you come to the tail end of the conversation is when people are saying, okay, now I have my questions.
Hello.
Let me switch it off because we have to end. It's 9 a.m. and we need you to get back to work for now. We shall have Job come again to really, help us understand where are we going. Actually, before the elections happen, I'm not calling you a prophet, but we're going to call you here to analyze these policies that are going to come, those blueprints that they have.
Yes.
Have they in any way put into effect some of the concerns?
In fact, as manufacturers, we're coming with our own blueprints that we're going to serve to all the presidential candidates.
Yes.
All the gubernatorial candidates.
Candidates as well.
Ask them, are you going to do this or not? If you're not going to do, we are not supporting you.
Oh my goodness, I can't wait for that.
Yes.
In fact, that I'll call you here.
It's a process we are starting.
Come let us know as well, so that at least we can also push that same agenda. Because if we are not catered for as business people, then there's no even money for them as well.
Yes.
Many thanks for joining us. Thanks a lot for staying tuned. Of course, keep yourself safe wherever you are. COVID is still around. Get vaccinated, that's what we're saying. And a shout out for all those of you saying we have very nice shirts. Oh yeah. Shout out to One Stop Shop, absolutely, who are doing this amazing work as well for us here. And we appreciate that we are promoting Buy Kenya, Build Kenya. Thanks so much for tuning in. Bye-bye for now. See you.